everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. Today we'll be trying out a new series. It's one that I think has great potential for the show and one that I think a lot of you will enjoy. I'm basically going to read the Wikipedia page of someone, some place, or something that appears on the main page of Wikipedia. And today that happened to be Kona Lanes Bowling. I didn't want to call it Let's Read Wikipedia, so that's why I don't have a series titled just yet. But I think the series has a chance to sort of do something pretty unique in terms of content, and I think we together can explore new people, new places, new moments in history together. And for some of you, it will be so sufficiently boring that you'll end up napping or sleeping. And hey, that's cool too, because a lot of you listen to the show specifically to be able to fall asleep. So again, I'm really excited for it. Like I said, today we'll be learning about Kona Lanes Bowling together. And without further ado, let's begin the episode. Kona Lanes was a bowling center in Costa Mesa, California that opened in 1958 and closed in 2003 after 45 years in business. Known for its futuristic design, it featured 40 wood flooring bowling lanes, a game room, a lounge, and a coffee shop that eventually became a Mexican diner. Built during the advent of Googie architecture, its Polynesian tiki-themed styling extended from the large roadside sign to the building's neon lights and exaggerated roof lines. Sorry, I didn't read that part very well. When Kona Lanes was demolished in 2003, it was one of the last remaining examples of the Googie style in the region. Its sister center, Java Lanes, in Long Beach, was razed in 2004. Much of Kona's equipment was sold prior to the demolition. A portion of the distinctive sign was saved and sent to Cincinnati, Ohio, for display in the American Sign Museum. Costa Mesa's Planning Commission approved a proposal to build a department store on the site. Following public outcry, those plans were scrapped. In 2010, the still vacant land was rezoned for senior citizens' apartments and commercial development. Construction on the apartments began 10 years after Kona Lanes was demolished. So now we start with history, and this is the early years I'm about to read. Kona Lanes opened in 1958, featuring the tiki-inspired signage and architecture that became popular following World War II, including what the Los Angeles Times called its flamboyant neon lights and ostentatious roof lines, meant to attract motorists like moths. The building on Harbor Boulevard near Adams Avenue was one of three in the Googie style that architects Powers, Daly, and DeRosa designed at around the same time. Kona Lanes and its sister center, Java Lanes, used names that suggested South Pacific Island locales. Author Andrew Hurley called them expensive and attractive buildings that screamed, "Have fun here," and Kona retained much of that atmosphere over the years. Its massive neon-lit street sign remained for the life of the building, and Kona was the only bowling establishment in the area to reject automatic scoring equipment throughout its entire existence. Kona Lanes hosted the Southern California PBA Open twice in 1964. Billy Hardwick won in April and Jerry Hale in December. Longtime general manager Dick Stoffler, known at the time as the host of TV bowling tournament on KTLA, finished third during the televised finals in his own building in December, behind Hale and Hardwick. When Stoffler rolled back-to-back 300 games in one league session at Kona in 1968, he was one of only 4 men in the country to have managed the feat. Peak years. Champions who bowled at Kona Lanes during its 45-year history include three-time Professional Bowlers Association Tour winner Jack Biondolillo, six-time Male Bowling Writers Association of America Bowler of the Year and future PBA Hall of Famer Don Carter, John Havlis, an Orange County Bowling Hall of Fame inductee who began a stint as Kona's manager in 1974, future Michigan Women's Bowling Association Hall of Famer Cora Fiebig, two-time female BWAA Bowler of the Year Aletta Sill, and Barry Asher, the multiple PBA Tour champion and Hall of Fame inductee who later ran the pro shop at the Fountain Bowl in nearby Fountain Valley. Kona Lanes and Tustin Lanes hosted nearly 10,000 teams of 5 players, each taking part in the United States Bowling Congress Women's Championships in 1986. Under Dick Stoeffler's management, Kona Lanes kept busy 24 hours a day, which made him one of the most successful proprietors in the country. Stoeffler met his future wife there, and other couples had similar experiences. Kona was often so busy that customers had to make reservations to get a lane during open, non-league bowling hours. At its peak, Kona Lanes averaged more than 80 lines on each of its 40 lanes. Bowling as a participation sport flourished in the early 1960s, but its popularity was diluted due to the overbuilding. The number of bowling alleys sanctioned by the then American Bowling Congress peaked at about 11,000 by mid-decade, and Kona was one of more than 30 in Southern California alone. A decline in league bowling started in the 1980s was also blamed for the downturn, but an AMF bowling official argued that the customer base remained steady because an increase in bowling made up for fewer league bowlers. Jack Mann bought Kona Lanes in 1980 and rebranded it New Kona Lanes the following year. Mann's family owned several bowling centers in the region. He was behind the creation of Fountain Bowl in 1973 and the short-lived Regal Lanes in Orange in 1974. He also owned Tustin Lanes before selling it to his youngest son, Alex. Mann bought Kona not because he loved bowling, but because it would continue to pay dividends if he was no longer able to work. He later sold Kona to his son, Jack Jr. Now we move on to the next section, which is music. The center's lounge, known as the Outrigger Room, or is it Outrigger? I'm not sure. We'll call it the Outrigger Room. So I repeat. The center's lounge, known as the Outrigger Room, hosted many local artists over the years. Jazz quintet The Red Fox BBQ released 4 songs recorded there, and Roscoe Holland recorded a set of 8 live performances for his album Beyond the Reef. In later years, much of the Bowlers area was taped off for rock concerts and weekend promotions like Club Crush, which proved popular among teenagers and also led to album recordings. The idea backfired at least once. Kona Lanes was hit with some negative publicity when a planned event featuring a local punk rock group was shut down by the Costa Mesa Police Department. Decline and demolition. Kona Lanes continued to lose business to newer centers, despite efforts to appeal to a more diverse customer base by hosting local music acts, supporting a Polynesian-themed restaurant called Kona Coral, and promoting gimmicks like nude bowling. Eventually, the property became more valuable than the business. Landowners C.J. Sigerstrom and Sons gave Jack Mann Jr. a choice: spend $10 to $20 million to update the center, or give it up. Mann chose the latter rather than spending such a sum on a site without a long-term lease. Plans to build a Kohl's department store on the site occupied by Kona Lanes and then already closed Edward Cinema Center and Ice Capade Chalet were approved by the city's planning commissioners, but they were met with resistance by neighbors who did not believe the store was a good fit for the area. Then Mayor Karen Robinson complained that Costa Mesa's policymakers were discarding recreation as part of the quality of residents' lives, and appealed the commissioner's decision in February 2003. The city council later rejected the proposal. The continuing efforts to save Kona Lanes failed. It closed for good in May 2003 and was demolished soon after. Legacy. The loss of Kona Lanes was a repeated topic at political events. One Costa Mesa City Council candidate said he made a commitment to public service when the building was torn down with little resistance. Another would-be council member agreed that the demolition should never have happened. Activity at Kona increased in its final days due to the nostalgic value of potential keepsakes. Manager Juanita Johnson said people were asking to buy furniture, office equipment, and more. Some of that is older than I am. The more substantial items, including the original wood lanes, have been sold off prior to demolition, while dumpster divers hit the parking lot each day looking for any items of interest. In 2012, Costa Mesa made plans to upgrade the Triangle, a retail space along Harbor Boulevard, 2 miles south of the Kona Lanes site. Those plans featured a 10-lane bowling alley that opened in 2014. One city official said the center answered residents' longtime call for a new, upscale bowling facility. Historic roadside sign. The huge neon-lit Kona Lanes Bowl sign was featured in publications by the Costa Mesa Historical Society, along with a book of Tiki and Tiki Road trip. It also inspired professional paintings. In 2003, Costa Mesa Planning Commissioner Katrina Foley led an effort to save it from the scrap heap. Thanks in part to a private donation, the marquee was trucked 2,500 miles to Cincinnati, one of the first 20 signs accepted by the American Sign Museum. The Kona Lanes portion was refurbished and put on permanent display. The larger bowl section buckled and tore during the unloading process and could not be saved. So that's the end of this episode related to Kona Lanes. I purposely made it a little shorter, or I chose a topic that wouldn't be that long, just because I wanted to hear your feedback. If you guys are interested in me doing more episodes like this one, you can reach me at hello@SleepandRelaxASMR.com. You can also check out our website, SleepandRelaxASMR.com. Just let me know. I get a few emails a week. People give me their feedback, and I really do try to take it and make the best content possible. So if you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. I also have been receiving more emails for me to speak more like this, which is sort of my normal voice, just in a very quiet room, instead of just whispering or fluctuating between whispering and my voice as you hear it now. Again, just let me know if you guys want me to do exclusively whispered episodes. I'll certainly do it. If you guys would prefer that I continue to do this, then I'll certainly do it as well. I make the show for you guys. So that's the end of this episode. As always, thanks for listening, and take care.